aged this Jack Daniels in a balloon that I snuck into jail.
Mm-hmm.
Wrecked him.
I barely
killed him.
Killed him. Welcome once again to Chill Filter, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to. But you probably should, and you probably are, and that's why we like you. This episode 197, I believe, we are drinking Copper Sky Distillery's light whiskey, specifically a 16-year they have, proof at 139.8, which is pretty darn high. But before I get into what's great or special about this whiskey, before I get into anything, let's talk about some ways you can support us. What is some ways you can support us, man? Yeah, I guess like
give us a rating and review.
Give us a
on whatever
rating
platform.
And review on whatever platform you're on, but it preferably Apple Podcasts if you can. But some people also don't have that, so
send us pictures of your puppies.
Yeah, like that's dogs. A great way to support us. Send us pictures of your puppies. Like Joel and MO9 can send us pictures of Cabana and stuff like that. So
send us some of your favorite recipes. Let us know what you think we'll like to eat. That would be really uplifting. Mm-hmm. I'd feel supported.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. So that's the business. Otherwise, how are you doing, Robby?
Woo, I'm good, man. So it's
the end of
Friday,
the week. Yeah,
end of the week after school. Raced home and try to get things set up right away. Yeah. So I'm kind of like I'm not relaxed right now. I'm kind of like
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
It's okay, I mean, we're recording at 5:30 on a Friday, so yeah.
3:30 for me.
Oh, 3:30. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, I'm good. Things are all right. First week back to school after spring break. Kids weren't too crazy. Pretty good stuff. Weather is getting nice. I'm appreciating that. Getting the yard work done. Mm-hmm. Replanted some areas in my yard. Yeah, I figured out a new system for moving the trampoline. Previously, I had a spot where I could move the trampoline about 3 feet either direction. So, and it's like, so then the middle part of the trampoline just always was dead. So worked out a system, took down part of the kids' old swing set, and now I can move it extra places. So I got to reseed a lot of places. So
nice.
Staying busy. I don't know. Oh man, did I talk about picking up my pickup yet?
Yeah, you talked a little bit about last week.
It's been fun though. Every day the twins are like, "Can we go for a ride in your pickup, Daddy?"
Nice.
And I love it. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Got the windows down.
That's fun.
The radio doesn't work. I got to replace that. But good windows down, riding around with my twins, and then it's fun too because Amara, like, we take it to school a couple of times. I don't know, just something about sitting on that old bench seat.
Yeah.
Sans mouse poop. Once you get the sans mouse poop. Once you get the mouse poop out, it's a fun ride. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What year? 87 or something like that?
It's an 86. 86 Dodge Ram.
Nice.
Don't ask me anything else about it. People are like, hey, what color the engines? And then I'm like, I don't know.
You know what's a great thing about 1986?
What?
License to Ill. I believe that was an 86. Yeah.
License to Ill. That is like Fight for Your Right to Party and all that, right?
Yeah. No Sleep Till Brooklyn, Brass Monkey, Sabotage, I believe. No, Sabotage.
No. Sabotage is Ill Communication.
1997?
Right.
What am I thinking of? Yeah, but good out. I was listening to just 2 songs off of
Girls.
Boop, no. Boop, boop, oh yeah. I was listening to No Sleep Till Brooklyn and
which is phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good. And then I forget what the other song was, but I was listening. It was on my like radio station to work, my app radio station. Yeah. So yeah, it was good. Yeah. So you're seeding the lawn. You're getting ready for summer, spring.
Driving around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I'm ready for yard weather.
Yeah.
Oh man. So get this.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing with the mouse poop, I stored all of our like cushions for like outdoor couch and stuff like that outside by my grill. Cover it with a tarp and stuff. Yeah. Some mouse got in there, was pooping, chewed into, like was nesting inside one of them. So
rough.
Now we're in like
so much for covering it.
Yeah. So now we're we got to find some new stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing that's frustrating about that is had I wanted to buy new stuff, I would have bought it at the end of last summer.
Yeah, totally.
Now it's like super expensive, so I don't know what we're gonna do there. But those darn Mises.
Those Meeson. Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Brian Regan.
Brian Regan.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
What's the food? Food is the engine it is.
How you doing?
Did
you reorient your desk there?
No.
Are you on a spectral plane? You have this angelic glow behind you.
Oh no, it's just the sun is coming through behind me, like
here comes the sun.
Really bright. I mean, the sun, like my house, the front of my house, which is this side of me, faces west, so there is plenty of sunlight as the sun goes down, being 5:42 p.m. But yeah, I'm doing well. I think I thought about it. I was like, what will I say when Robby asked me?
Did you take some shots
write it down.
And write it down and worry about it?
I didn't make a mnemonic device either. But
did you make
one thing,
demonic device?
Ooh, but spelled with a P. Pneumatic device, yeah. Yeah, for the first time in a long time, if not like one of the first times ever, I listened to like an old episode. I listened to, it was about 100 episodes ago. It was, I believe, episode 92 or 93 or something like that. It was the Isaac Bowman Portcast finish. And it was like, I picked the worst, not the worst episode. It was a good episode. But I picked a really sad one. That was the one where I like basically decided in my mind that I wasn't going to visit you when I had the tickets on the plane. And it was like, and it was COVID just started. And we were like, we'll see when this like bummed. I was, and I was like, we'll see when this all passes, like fades out. And then like, it was 2 years later, here we are, luckily things seem to be getting a little better, but
no, I think we're good. I mean, I'm good. I think it's a personal level kind of thing, right?
Totally.
People,
I can probably assure you I'm gooder than you are in terms of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Not in life.
Yeah. I'm fortunate to only know a few people who died from COVID. So
yeah,
I know some, like, man, I mean, yeah, a lot. Anyway, let's not
let's not make it that episode again.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, I think about this often is one of my, like, right when I started, one of our first Whiskey World Newses was a guy in China who was American who got COVID and just drank whiskey and said whiskey cured me. And we were like, oh, it's not going to be a big deal.
That's silly.
Like, yeah. Who do you know that's like, oh, I got the bird flu. Like, I had swine, and brag about it. Like, I don't think people are bragging about it now, but we're like, it's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
2 years later.
Yeah. But
anyway,
I realized like some of the recurring jokes, like I don't know. I only listened to one old episode, but I'm like, some of our jokes, like you realize like, oh, it started here. Or for example, I was like on that episode, I was like, you know what we should do? We should put it on a poll on Instagram of what we're drinking the next week. Like I brought that up and that's what we do,
No, we
and so it was good. I think also Beck, she had been dealing with a lot of teething stuff. So she was kind of like fussy a lot lately, but recently she's got like 2 bottom teeth and they're halfway up, and then she's got 4 top teeth and 2 of them are canines, and she's like got these little fangs. But they finally all broke through, and she is doing a lot better on the teething end, at least this past week or so, and she is just so happy. She's just such a happy girl.
That's the hardest thing too, is like when your kid's going through like something developmental like that, like, oh, they're not themselves, and then they come back and you're like, yeah. When Junie had a helmet, it was awful because you had to put the helmet, and like she was the happiest girl without the helmet. You put that helmet on her, it was just it'd break your heart.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, she's pure joy. And like this morning I woke her up. I was like, hey, Beck, time to wake up. And like I've said before, before she opens her eyes, she smiles. She's just like, and then she like,
Well, if you were waking me up, Cole, I'd have a smile on my face too.
Even before you opened your eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And then it's kind of the end of the week. It's It wasn't a hard week. I mean, I only worked 3 days because I had
Can we talk
off.
about something awesome this week?
Yeah, please.
Cool. Speaking of recurring jokes, what are you wearing? What do you got on there, buddy?
Oh, I'll tell you. I got to stand up a little bit. But I am wearing a... Dang it. a Bush's... Dang it. Where is this thing? I hate mirrors. Mirror things on the
Cole's
camera.
a vampire. His daughter's got vampire teeth and he hates mirrors.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The huge shout out to Caleb Olson, who just knows us. He knows who we are. And Robby hopped off the he's about to hop on for a second. Hey, Caleb Olson's the man. He sent us not only samples of good whiskey and an Armagnac, which I am drinking as my entry buzz.
Are we not doing what's Armagnac? Is that a whiskey? That's
Armagnac's a brandy. Yeah, it's like
I thought so.
Yeah, you were getting excited about the 25-year-old whiskey.
I didn't know if it was like Armagnac finish or what.
Oh, so no.
I'm dumb. But I got a nice new toque. Great. And go to the bean cam.
Go to the bean cam.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. Thank you, Caleb.
Caleb, you're the man.
Made my week. Like
it definitely like.
But it feels like we might be on that track, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're the man, Caleb. Thank you so much. And one other thing, I wanted to reach out. We are approaching our 200th episode. And we are excited about that one. We're 3 episodes out. If someone
you said that like we had to talk ourselves into it. Yeah, we're excited about
I guess we're excited about it. No, we're really excited, but we're not sure what we're gonna drink yet. And we don't we have like a lot to pick from. We have over 50.
I say we drink all 50.
We just mix a little bit of each one into 2 ounces.
We just drink them all. We go 2 ounces at a time. Just
50. Yeah, just give quick notes as you pour them down. Like
I can't take anything.
Yeah. But if you're out there and you're like, I really want Cole and Robby to drink this crazy pour, and we're like people send us stuff a lot, and we're down for that. But if you got like something crazy and you want to send it to us, hey,
as long as it's crazy like good or crazy fun. Whiskey wise, if it's crazy like this is some Jack Daniels I pissed in 8 years ago,
exactly. And it's aged well. Yeah, we might not want that.
That's crazy.
We'll take it for a future episode.
Crazy.
Yeah, we'll take. I mean, not the pee stuff, but we'll take some of the.
I mean, we'll take it. We're not gonna probably never say never, but
never say never.
Drink it.
Yeah, I mean there are butt chugs on the line in other ways, so. Mm-hmm. But we will not be redistributing that Macallan 18 after being
aged this
expelled
Jack Daniels in a balloon that I snuck into jail.
Mm-hmm.
Wrecked him.
I barely
killed him.
Knew her? Yeah, I barely know him.
Wrecked him. Barely knew her.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if someone wants to send us, feel free to reach out. If not, we'll figure it out. And I'm not dependent on that. We do have some good options, but I feel like we don't have any like A+ options. Like we have a lot of A options, but like extra credit options we don't have. So
extra credit,
yeah, we do, but we don't.
We got good stuff. We have lots.
We got good stuff, but yeah, that's life. Mm-hmm. That's whiskey. And that's the podcast. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for listening. We love you guys. Goodbye.
Yeah, love you guys. Bye.
Good night now.
And we didn't even end. I was talking to Miles Ferguson on the phone recently, and he said something like, I hope this, and then he said another hope. And I don't think he intended to say it that way. And I was like, and I hope.
And he's like, oh, you filtered me.
Yeah,
you chill filtered me.
You done got chill filtered. Hey, that's the name of the podcast. So, I mean, what else is going on? That's my life. I'm looking forward to this weekend.
You don't gotta, dredge the bottom of the barrel there.
It's true.
It's fine. You don't gotta what else? Like, this is good BS time. Just it's good. Sorry.
No, I'm with you. No. So let's. Unless you got anything else, we'll send it to break. Nothing else.
I don't have anything else.
We'll go on a nice spring walk, and we'll be back, and we'll talk about Copper Sky Distillery. So here we go to break. And we're back from break. What a nice walk.
Oh my gosh,
What a
it's
nice
spring is sprung.
walk. It's
Things
like,
were flung.
yeah, spring was flung. Anyway, I already got to the notes that I wanted to get to, and shouting out Caleb Olson, who we didn't even mention is
a
baller.
There was some nice harmonics on that. We
Yeah,
harmonized.
that was working together.
Oh,
I guess we both
man.
have traditional Glencairns today, so
Yeah,
right,
here,
right,
do
right.
do yours. Do yours. Yeah, I got traditional. And mine.
Ooh,
Well, I'm a
step
little
up.
higher. But I have a little entry buzz in mine.
Ah, that'll do it. So
Mhm.
anyway, talking about
So like a true professor of music of Glencairns.
Yeah. What is it? I don't remember the scene, but I remember the line in Nacho Libre. So where he's like, so anyways, I think it might have been when he was talking to Encarnacion in his room. But anyway, this is our first Copper Sky product on the podcast.
Oh boy.
It's also our first light whiskey on the podcast. It's a small little operation that they make it. So we'll get some background, but we'll also talk about what makes light whiskey special. So let's talk a little bit about Copper Sky Distillery. It was started in Longmont, Colorado in 2020. So not too long ago. And I know what you're thinking. 2020, aren't you drinking a 16-year-old whiskey today? Well, we'll get to that.
Chill your beans.
Chill your beans, man. All that beautiful bean footage. But anyway, started up by a man of many talents. His name is Mike Root. Sounds like he mostly grew up in Miami, but lived all throughout the South after getting a double degree from Troy University in Alabama. He joined the Air Force, and while in the Air Force, he started his first company at age 24, starting a safe ride transportation company. And then while serving in Pakistan, he wrote his first book. It was titled Forgotten Country, A Discussion on Servant Leadership. Then, when he got out of the Air Force, he started Copper Sky Distillery. And then he actually started another company after that, but I didn't write that down, what it was. So, of course, one of the things, they have a lot of products, but you'll notice, and here are some of their products, actually. They have a standard few options on their website, and they have a 5-year wheated bourbon, and then they have another bourbon that is 51% corn and then 49% malted barley. Very interesting. It reminds me of what was it? Kings County did a very high barley bourbon, and I imagine it's very malty in that way. Anyway, I hope to reach out to Copper Sky and let them know about this episode airing. And then maybe we can even reach out and figure out maybe future episodes with them, because I always love reaching out to smaller distilleries. Reach out and touch me. It's gonna be May. Hey, speaking of which, we're recording on April 1st, which is the 2-year
No, we're not.
birthday.
April Fools.
April Fools.
Sorry. Yes,
it's the 2-year birthday of my sourdough starter.
Oh, happy birthday, sourdough.
Yeah.
Every year on April Fools, April Fools my student, be like, "Did you guys hear the school board meeting last night?" And I'll make up some reason, like this year it was like, because we had like all the weird hybrid days and online learning days, they realized that school is going to go into July. So our last day of school is July 1st. And they're all like, "What?" And then I say, "April Fools." And they're like, "Deadlow.
Mr. Deadlow.
Oh, I made you guys bush your baked beans.
Yeah, they bushed it hard. Anyway. They also have a low rye bourbon, which has 21% rye in the mash bill, which sounds pretty high. Like a high rye to me.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, they call it a low rye. And then they have a 13-year light whiskey. And you're thinking, Cole, why are you drinking a 16-year then? Well, because technically this was a barrel pick. And they apparently do a lot of that. But let's talk about light whiskey for a moment. Wait, I missed something, and I want to go back to it.
Cool.
So
people don't. Oh, never mind.
No,
Like people don't see your notes, but then you went to light whiskey and you're like, nah, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah. I'll get to light whiskey in a bit, but they
Ooh,
do source
cliffhanger.
a lot. Yeah. What's that?
Cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. They do source a lot of their whiskey, and at least this bottle was sourced from Indiana, which makes me believe it is MGP juice, which I wasn't sure if it was MGP juice because I figured MGP has a lot of like standard recipes that they do, but I haven't heard that MGP does a light whiskey. Maybe they've gotten into that recently, but the fact that, and we'll get into what it means to be light whiskey, but the fact that they have a 16-year light whiskey, I bet it is MGP, but I just wouldn't have guessed that MGP produced light whiskey. They usually have certain rye recipes and bourbon recipes, but anyway. So let's talk light whiskey. And it's not what it sounds like. You know how bourbons and ryes need to be distilled to no more than 160 proof and need to be barreled at no more than 125 proof?
I think about it day and night. Yes.
Yeah, I know you do. And so what else is bourbon known for? Well, they need to be aged and like ryes or need to be aged in new charred oak containers.
Containers?
And I barely know hers.
What did you say? Containers for a reason?
Yes, actually, containers is the legal definition. We have said barrels, and that's somewhat true.
Okay,
but the legal definition is containers.
So I could take my newly charred American oak purse and I can age in that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. And so there's light whiskey, which branches off from that point in terms of the entry proof, the distillation proof, and the new charred oak barrels or containers. Light whiskey is distilled over 160, but no more than 190. That's the rule. And then it is aged in either used charred oak barrels or uncharred oak barrels. And it leaves a lighter color and taste in general, but often produces very high levels of alcohol by volume. Often I see light whiskey edging on the hazmat, if not well over hazmat, the 140 proof, basically. And it's actually been a federal category of whiskey since 1968, which I had no idea it went back that far. And I believe it was 64, in which bourbon was like the bourbon standard was federal law, and rye in that case. So a few years later, it was 1968 that they like made light whiskey a thing. But I had not heard of light whiskey until the last few years, which is funny.
I haven't heard of light whiskey until 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. And it was created basically or it was federally, put together so it could compete with bourbon, which kind of pushed it out of the way. When there was these bourbon standards, it basically took everything else off the playing field. And they're like, well, we want a standardized name for it too. The people that proofed it up really high and then aged in not new charred oak containers or uncharred containers. Anyway,
so if I had Dutch wooden clogs made from newly charred American oak, I could age my whiskey in that.
Yeah, and then you can drink right out of it, and it's technically bourbon, as long as it fits the other bourbon standards.
Perfect.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be straight bourbon because it wouldn't be 2 years unless you really want to rock it in there for 2 years.
Now, if I wear them while I'm aging them for 2 years with the whiskey in it,
sounds like a trench of swampy goodness to me.
The trenchiest of swampy goodness.
Trenchiest, yeah. So there's a few companies that like make light whiskey these days. One is Cat's Eye Distilling. I believe they're out of Iowa.
Cat's Iowa?
Cat's Eye. And they make Unobtainium, if you've ever heard of that. They do a supremely hazmat, light whiskey. And they do a few. They do like different releases. One was like a Canadian or something like that, light whiskey. I don't know. But High West recently started doing light whiskey too, which I thought was cool. I don't think it's a standard offering, but they do it. And then that's what I got. Let's talk about what we're drinking today. Copper Sky light whiskey, batch 1341, bottle number 34, but that's not going to matter too much. And then it's 139.8 proof, and it's a 16-year. Classy bottle. I like this bottle. I think it is a nice looking
It's kind of
micro distillery bottle.
It reminds me of like a Four Roses barrel, but
like
smush,
a small
pull
I mean a single barrel. Yep.
Pull the neck up, smush the bottom down.
Anyway, it's 16 years. It's 139 proof, which is only 0.1% under hazmat. It looks to be non-chill filtered. Hey,
that's not the name of the podcast.
And I see a lot of particulates on the bottom, which is what makes me believe it is a non-chill filter. And I got this from Veterans Liquor, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Shout out to Brent. And I believe I got it for about $100. And that's what I got.
Well, let's pour this. Is loving. Let's hear that pop first. We don't have.
Oh yeah, that's right. Let me finish my intro.
We've got so many amazing listeners. We have we do so many episodes out of sample bottles now.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't get a lot of pops.
How's that for pop?
I like
it. Fun don't stop. You know what I'm saying?
That was the tops of the pops. Mm-hmm.
So be prepared. I mean, this is hot. It's hot. But I tried it like a week or so ago. And I was like, this is good.
Well, way to show your hand, Cole.
I know. Well, yeah, I did just hand it out. All right.
Ooh, like nose-wise, there's definitely a lot of vapor there. It's so hot on the nose.
It's interesting because vodka is typically proofed up to, more than 160 and right around potentially up to 190. And then they'll water it down with like some,
water.
And so the thing about light whiskey is that the more alcohol you have in a whiskey, potentially the less flavor you could have, because what's left over after the actual just pure alcohol is from the grain, like flavors from the grain. But when you really proof it up, you're potentially losing what could be like corn flavor or other grains flavor. So that's one of the things you can get is the age here. It's almost like an aged vodka that is not proofed down to like 40% or something like that. So that's the risk of a light whiskey. Yeah, you got it. But there can be great flavors that do show up, especially when it's a 16-year. So when you think of a 16-year, it's not usually it's darker than that, and that probably shows me that it's aged in new or used charred oak barrels.
Ooh, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot going on there.
It really is.
There's a really sharp, bright sweetness that I can't put my hand on at the beginning. Mouthfeel, it's. I mean, it almost feels like you're pouring, like rubbing alcohol on your tongue. Like
yeah.
It is hot, but it's light.
That's the thing.
It's light whiskey, but it's like
flavor is light. It's there.
Well, I think there's some good flavor, but I think like mouthfeel wise, it just feels like
I gotcha.
Like it's there,
it does kind of feel like very low or high viscosity. High or low? Low viscosity. Yeah, so it's like it goes really quick. It's not like honey. It's the opposite.
Absolutely. So and then there's a real sharp sweetness I can't put my finger on. It's interesting. I like it. I like it a lot so far. I'm gonna go for my second sip.
Yeah, I do like it a lot too. Part of me, the first hit of the palate tastes like aged vodka, but then it like develops a little bit. And I'm not saying like aged vodka is like a really bad thing. It is kind of light with the flavor, but then it changes like really quick. And I'm with you. There's a sharp sweetness right after the front of the palate that is caramely to an extent. I'm trying to get a better note on it, but it's definitely got some like.
I got a little bit of like it's almost like a sherried. It almost like there's some like sharp stone fruit there.
I can get behind stone fruit, almost like a almondy, or potentially. Okay, that's a great note. You ever have orgeat?
Orgeat?
Yeah, I think it's pronounced orgeat. But it's orgate. Some people pronounce it as. It's like usually from
Like in Mai
almonds,
Tais?
potentially even and it potentially a little bit of like pecans you can do with that, and it gets
Pecan
some nice
pie.
viscosity with the sugar you're going with. I like this.
I do, yeah.
It's weird though. It's different than your average like bourbon. It like I said, it's light, but there's stuff still there. The flavor is still there, and I would be curious what like a 10-year light whiskey would taste like as opposed to this. Because
My lips are
16 years is
numb.
a lot of years.
Like it's definitely high proof. My lips are a little bit numb.
Mm-hmm.
Tongue's a little bit numb.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is it's if you're new to whiskey, this is not going to be your whiskey. I can tell you that
No.
much. I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's a
like
great point.
throw in some Coke or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be easy to not be able to drink this if you
Yeah.
didn't drink, on a podcast or at
Ayo.
home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of heat to it.
There is, and that's something to kind of you gotta prep yourself for this kind of whiskey. It is.
Yeah, well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad I almost skipped my entry buzz, and I was like, I better. So
I'm dropping some drops, but I'm dropping like a few drops into this because
I
I do
did a
have
little.
extra.
I did an extra drop myself,
Mhm.
but I have less than you, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Nose
But,
wise,
maybe a
super
swirly.
vapory after that. I'm gonna keep
Mhm.
swirling here a little bit.
Ooh, the slight caramel toffiness shows up a little more on the nose.
I can see toffee. Yeah, it does. It definitely is like a. It's like a brittle, like a peanut brittle
Yeah.
kind of toffee, like a hard.
Yeah, I can get behind peanut
Like
brittle.
no, I'm going Heath. It's like if you licked all the chocolate off a Heath bar and then you smelled it and forgot about your mouth bacteria that was drying on top of the previously licked chocolate, it'd be like the toffee on a Heath bar.
This is crazy different with a little water. It's potentially my mouth is like burning. It's potentially like more hot. The proof is like getting to me more with the water.
Oh yeah. Whew.
Which is funny.
There's a burn there for sure.
Yeah, and it's not as pleasant on. I mean, all the flavors are there. It's just overshadowed by the hot.
Just you're
like,
just drinking
alcohol.
like Everclear almost kind of thing.
It is not as good with ice or with water. But this
it's hot. I don't think I'm
gonna try another sip of the water pour.
Woo-wee. Yeah, it is way hot. There's nothing delicate there. Like it's hard to pull stuff out when it's that hot.
Which is funny because neat, it's like better. Like higher proof is better. I'm curious what ice is gonna do to this. Yeah, same kind of notes though with the water. They're just really overshadowed by the heat of the alcohol proof.
Yeah, I get kind of like a buttery, and it's not prominent at all, but like a little bit of a buttery butterscotch kind of a butterscotch.
Yeah, I can get a little bit of that. Yeah,
with the water, but it's not
butterscotch
prominent.
is a good note.
It's definitely it's alcohol forward with a little bit of water.
Yeah. I wouldn't buy it if it tasted every time like it did with the water pour. Fire in the hole.
It
is very swirly in there. What's this?
This whiskey's swirly.
So swirly.
Oh man, I gotta be honest. I was not in the mood to drink, which is funny because it's a Friday, and you figured I would be. I was kind of tired.
Yeah,
but I'm feeling it out. Having a good time.
Yeah, 139.8 proof will do that to you. Okay, so the ice pour is very different. This is like almost the definition of buttery on the palate. It is handleable proof wise as opposed to the water pour. The buttery applies to the flavor and the texture, and the mouthfeel.
I think mouthfeel wise, I can see the butteriness.
Yeah, and
on the flavor too. Yeah,
I dig it. I don't know if I prefer it to the neat pour, but I like it.
So it reminds me of. Do you ever go to like Texas Roadhouse?
Mm-hmm.
And they have the
cinnamon butter.
It's like the cinnamon butter. It reminds me of that, but not cinnamony. It's just how it's sweeter, right? Ooh, yeah. It's hot at the end. Woo.
Oh yeah.
Ha! Gotta stop talking.
This is a complex whiskey. Whether we like it or not, it's complex.
It is complex. You give this whiskey to the guy you want to shut up, because the more you talk, the more it burns.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, thanks for being political or talking about religion or just being a jerk. Here, drink this. And then,
you'll love it. It's 139.8 proof.
We'll love it.
Yeah. Tell me like,
yeah, more you talk with it, it gets hot. Oh, I like it with ice though. I think neat is interesting, almost hubba to what, because there's a lot going on. But with ice, it's it's all just hot. And between drinks, I'm a little tired. It's a Friday. Just having a little bit of Diet Coke in my cup to clear the palate, and it is still hot after when I take my next drink. Yeah, it's not going away. And it just hits.
Go ahead.
It just hits differently.
I don't know if it's one of those things. We've talked about this before. Is it good on first sip? Yeah. Is it good on multiple sips? I don't know about the ice pour. I think the ice pour would only last 3 sips before it kind of turns sour. Personally,
I only had 2, but it never got sour. So 3.
You never know. No, I just don't know if I could drink it all night. With the ice pour.
Oh, actually, you could drink this all night, because I think by if you go to ounce 4, you're just
yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, you're done.
But I think I prefer the neat pour the most, because it's got that really nice sweet note in the middle, almost fruity, but almost like you were saying, stone fruit. I wouldn't exactly call it almondy flavor, like the sweet almond flavor, but it's close to that, and it's kind of got a nice
ballpark.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of got a nice intensity in that sweet way, but then it fades. But I still do like it with ice. I just think I would enjoy it more throughout a pour if it were just neat.
I think that's the thing, is drinking this neat. Yeah, I think I don't know if it's because we're drinking it more, we've had more drinks of it, that the heat. Well, that's kind of counterintuitive, right? The more you drink, the less you notice the heat. But my lips are legitimately kind of numb right now.
Yeah,
there's a tingle there. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to try to drink this just neat. Yeah, because typically you would go away, but no, it's still hot. There's a heat there for sure. What other hazmat have we had? Many hazmats when I've been on the show?
I don't think we've had any besides the.
This is 1/10 of away from being one.
Yeah, no, we've had one.
At least one.
What was it?
But
we've had the A. Smith Bowman, but you weren't on that episode. But I think that might have been our only hazmat.
Okay. No, I think we. Anyway,
there was one more.
I feel like we've been close, or I think we had one when I was on, but it did not hit like this. Yeah. This one is I'm this is high proof. Yeah. It feels high proof, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just, it's there.
Yeah.
But I will say this. So we had, what did we do? We had the 2021 George T. Stagg, right? Yep. And
we had the
that
2020 George T. Stack.
2020 George T. Stack.
And that was like 130
that was like,
some.
And with that, it just felt like you were drinking. It was heat. It was just heat. You couldn't even get many. Was it George T. Stack?
It was Handy that year. That
Handy.
was rough,
The Handy.
yeah.
That's right. The Handy was just like,
it was just heat. Yeah.
It was just heat, and it was like you couldn't you couldn't pull much out. This it's heat, but you can pull a lot out. Like there's a lot going on. So I like that. Yeah. You ready to?
Yeah, I got one in mind. You got one in mind? I'll go first.
I do.
Yep, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go 8.4 here. It's enjoyable. It is it's very drinkable, especially neat. Like I said, I really like that sweet note. It comes out of nowhere. It's got complexity to it. It's got layers to it. Like when I think of hazmat amazingness, like this isn't anywhere near A. Smith Bowman. This isn't anywhere near some of the antique collection hazmats I've had, as well as like some of the other hazmats in terms of the bourbon and rye department. This is great. It's good. I would say it's very good. It's beyond good. It's very good, but it's not great. I would
it's and better than bad. It's good.
I want to say 8.4 is still a great score for this though.
Yeah.
Because especially for a small distillery that's like building up their portfolio and their resume there, I'm pretty proud of a company that one is from Colorado, but two is working on building up their, like I said, their portfolio. I think it's something to be very proud of. That being said, when I want a hazmat, I want like pure richness and sweetness and stuff. And this is that to an extent, but it doesn't keep up with 9+ status, to be honest.
I wouldn't say it's rich. It's not rich.
Yeah, I would say it's weirdly flavorful. Light. Yeah, but it's got like hits of flavor. So
yeah. So you talked me up 1/10. Nice. I was going to go 7.8. I'm going to go 7.9 because I think, I give this to me. I'm a happy guy. Like, sure, yeah, it's great. It's really good. Yeah, I really like it. There's a lot going on. It's not blah. It's got its own thing going. But I think definitely like for a smaller distillery, yeah, go for it. Like I've had a lot of smaller distilleries that are just not great. Right? Yeah. And I guess so they are a distillery. But
yes,
this is
and they do make their own stuff. They have a still. They're rocking it, but a lot of their stuff is sourced at the moment.
So this was probably sourced.
This was sourced. It was distilled in Indiana.
That's right. I got to pay attention more when you're doing history. I'm sorry.
It's a good time to zone out.
My ADD kicks in and I make faces. I'm sorry. I watch myself and I make faces. So anyway, yeah, 7.8. I like it a lot.
Nice.
If you can find a bottle, it's worth it. I mean, if you want something that's a little different, again. Yeah. I wouldn't. This would not be my daily sipper by any means. But it's just kind of like if you're doing a tasting, this is a fun one to bring out.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely one you like. It shows complexity, and that's one thing I gotta say about it. Not every whiskey is complex. This is complex.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
So, all right. Good job, Copper Sky. Keep it up and continue to grow. So I think that brings us to our next segment of the show that we like to call, and we do call, and not only do we like it, we do it. And it's Whiskey World News.
And we're back. This is part of the show we call Whiskey World News, the part of the show that we love and we're never contemplating to get rid of.
We never get rid of that. Certainly not if we didn't have something to replace it with.
Yeah. Anyway, part of the show we read an article, we talk about it. We
talk about it.
We just read it.
We don't read it.
Here we go. This one comes from The Thrillist, written by Dustin Nelson. It's titled, "This Whiskey Aged with a Wood Baseball Bat is Perfect for Opening Day." The wood involved in the aging process of the whiskey matters. It's where much of the flavor comes from. That's why distilleries are always talking about how long a whiskey was aged, how it was finished, what kind of wood stave may have been dropped in, or even, in the case of Glendalo's recent release, where the wood was harvested. Not even that, but like Buffalo Trace Project. What is it?
Single Oak Project. Yeah. They do like upper, lower part of the tree.
Yeah. Thrillist.
And tight or medium or coarse grained?
I prefer Toit. Whistle Pig
I
is
forgot about
collaborating
that.
with First Ballot Hall of Famer David Ortiz on a unique aging
I
process.
saw that.
It's the Big Poppy Barrel, an
Mhm.
expression of Whistle Pig's piggyback that was finished in a toasted baseball bat in the liquid for real. It's the first release in a new single barrel
Toasted
Legend
baseball
series.
bat.
Ortiz is kicking off the series that we will see with Whistle Pig collaborate with living legends on each release. This expression of Whistle Pig's rye whiskey was aged for 6 years in American oak barrels and finished in barrels with a toasted version of the DO34 maple wood bats. You aren't likely to find that anywhere else. It's bottled at 96.56 proof with the delayed opening for the opening of the MLB season. You should be able to get one to enjoy the season going on April 7th. You can order through Whistle Pig website starting on March 31st. The 750 ml bottle will run you $50. I'm going to stop there. Cole, any thoughts?
I do have thoughts.
I got lots of thoughts.
Okay, we got a toasted bat. Like, what the crap? I just think, like, I respect David Ortiz. I've seen him play. Great hitter, great baseball player. Great Dominican. I think he's Dominican. I sure hope he's Dominican. Yeah, I think he's Dominican.
All the real great Dominicans will let us know.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're a Dominican listener, hit us up. But like, I don't know, like Whistle Pig is like, it's got a weird reputation. I respect what's going on there. But if you got to bring in a baseball player to like boost your marketing, like I said, I appreciate David Ortiz. I appreciate Big Poppy. But like, really, I don't know. It just sounds like you're selling this whiskey, not the whiskey,
I'm going to just go right off where you were. I'm going to say, really, friggin' really, this is awesome. I am all in. I don't like baseball. Like, baseball is not my thing. I love going to games and sitting, relaxing. I will not watch baseball until it gets like postseason.
Oh, I'll never watch it on TV, but I'll watch it at the stadium.
I love taking naps during baseball. Like, I had a roommate who loved watching baseball, and like, man, laying on a couch while someone watches a baseball game, best naps I ever had.
Yeah.
This I love. Oh my gosh. Give me a bottle of whiskey that has some of Madison Square Garden's court aged in it.
That is kind of cool.
You know what I mean? Like, so like you're not just like it's a bottle with history, right? I give me a bottle. Oh man, I would pay a lot.
But there's a difference if it's like a home run bat from Big Poppy versus like a random bat that they found that like they attributed somehow to David Ortiz.
True, that's true. That is true. So like, I'm like, you could really get into a niche here where it's like, if there was a bottle that had like a 96 Sonics quart put into it, or like even like a March Madness, like the like on Monday when this comes out tonight, like you take that basket, that floor. I mean, it's got laminate in it and stuff like that, so it's probably like
they'll toast the other side.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like if you take some of that floor and infuse it and put it into a barrel. That sells. Yeah. And I would buy that. Like if Gonzaga were to win one, I would, which they're not because sorry, they lost. But yeah, dude, this is awesome. As a sports fan, I would love this.
Yeah.
Or even like if you have like a natural turf football field, like put some of that in the mash bill. Like we mowed the lawn at Memorial Stadium in Nebraska, which it's turf, so they wouldn't do that. But and then we put it into the mash bill. There's a little bit of bluegrass in this. Like whatever.
That is kind of cool. Yeah. And if it were the Boise State, a little bit of bluegrass, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I love this. I think this is cool. Like, especially if you're a big, fan of David Ortiz or like the Boston Red Sox.
So when I went to years ago, I think it was our third or fourth anniversary. Heather and I went to Boston, and we actually saw a game at Fenway. And the cool thing was, it was David Ortiz's last season, and it was like within 5 games of like his retirement, and he actually hit the winning home run basically. So we were like, oh, that's great. Like we're here to, Red Sox game. We see David Ortiz, one of his last games, and he wins the game with his home run. So it wasn't like a walk off or anything, but it was like his home runs did win the game though. So it was kind of cool.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
So go get him, Big Papi. But awesome. You're right. I think that's actually a good point. Like if you were to grab some, like I don't know.
It is kind of niche where it's like you have to love whiskey and you have to love this particular team.
But it would sell.
Like, what's the things like if Kentucky if like there's so many whiskey drinkers in Kentucky wins the national championship, you just take that floor, toast it, throw it in.
Yeah, and even if just for a few days, it would mean something very special.
Yeah, it's like fan is short for fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
And fanatics will go after that crap. I would.
So what do we got? We got Villanova, Kansas, Duke, and who else?
North Carolina.
Do you know that I grew up at my high school was like 3 stone's throws from Villanova?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like
nice.
Literally on the other side of the highway. Like here's my school, here's the highway, here's Villanova.
My goddaughter's puppy is named after Villanova.
Goddaughter's puppy. Okay, what's his name?
Her.
Yeah.
It's Nilla Nova Kelpin.
Nice.
Yeah. Named after Villanova.
Villanova or Villanova?
Like Nilla, like vanilla.
Like lady fingers, like Nilla wafers almost. But they're very different for the record.
I once got a haircut in college from a guy who just made me pay him a box of Nilla wafers. And you know how good that haircut was?
Amazing.
It was not good. And balding Robby is mad at head full of hair Robby for getting that.
I blame him. If only you hadn't paid with Nilla wafers.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how to cut hair. I can cut hair. I'm like,
yeah. Easy.
All right. Anyway, here we go to our next segment.
Yeah, so we're gonna go to the results from last week's whiskey. What whiskey would you choose?
Whiskey. What whiskey would you choose? Here we go. Last week's was, if your team were to win March Madness, what whiskey would you choose?
Yeah.
I went with Dry Fly because it's out of Spokane, and I was hoping my Gonzaga Bulldogs would pull it off.
They did.
They did not. Cole went with Driftless Glen out of Wisconsin because he wishes his Badgers would have won, but they didn't. Cole did kill it. 76% to 24%. Nice. And honestly, you offer me one of the two, I'm taking the Driftless Glen.
It's good stuff. Baraboo, baby.
All right. We had just a couple write-ins. No big deal. But Joel number 9 went with putting this in an AFL context. When my team has a win, I will reach for the Blantons straight from the barrel.
Nice.
Classic.
I like Joel.
Great. Joel's great.
He's one of our favorite Australian listeners.
He is, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 Joel! All right. Madtown marketer Ben Klepsig went with Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and I assume he's probably a Badger fan too.
Oh, you can bet. I mean, he's a Madtown, Madison, Wisconsin.
Gotcha.
Marketer.
I do envy Madison.
Dude, it's a great city.
I wish
it's up there with Boise, in my opinion. I actually love Boise more than Madison.
I almost wish I was
close.
a Badger. I almost wish I was a Badger.
If only you weren't a Nebraska Cornhusker fan.
Always contending. All right. And then Marco, in case
set your mind on a lame state.
You shut your mouth.
If only you were Wisconsin.
Say that again. I'm going to stab you in the face with this. Sorry. All right. Marco and Casey went with Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof or 1792 Full Proof.
Nice.
So that's that. And Cole, this week, we're kind of going to one of our generics.
Nice.
But it's one of the times of the year we want to hear from you. Tastes change. Things change throughout the year.
Everything changes.
2020 in February, we thought COVID, no big deal.
No big deal.
Not going to affect anything. 2022, we're like, dang, COVID affected a lot.
Everything
changed. So we want to know, what are you drinking this spring? Now that it's spring, it's a little warmer outside. You're sitting on the patio. You're going out on the lake a little bit. You're
if you're Caleb Olsen, you're doing all the bits. Yeah.
You're doing that sort of thing. What's your springtime whiskey? What are you going to drink now that it's spring?
So this is a good question. For spring whiskey is different than your average whiskey. It's not just I don't go hazmat on a spring whiskey. Hazmat's not meant for spring. You got to get something like 90 to 100 proof. Amazing. Yeah, I'm going to go with the first thing that really rings my bell. You know what I'm saying? Four Roses Small Batch Select. I've given this answer recently on something else, but I just love Four Roses Small Batch Select. It is right in the range that you're expecting, that you're hoping for. It's like, I believe it's 90 to 100 proof.
Get the hazmat hiccups.
You got the hazmat hiccups.
Or the almost kind of like my wife won't let me claim 6'4". 6'3" 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
Hazmat and 1/10 off.
Yeah, 1/10 of a percent less than hazmat. You're basically that, Robby. I should call you almost hazmat Robby. Easy.
I'll take it.
Easy thing to say.
Man, my school today smelled like farts everywhere I went, and I thought maybe it's me. And then I went outside. I was like, no, I was in my car and it wasn't. But
okay, car is a different story than outside. Because if you go outside, it's like a windy day.
I don't know why.
Well, I guess it's not me.
I don't know why.
It really is.
That was a weird thing to say.
It's different.
I'm so sorry, guys.
No. It's
so I'm gonna go with. I've been enjoying this, and I'm surprised by it. And I know we'll have an episode as soon as I eventually send them to you. I'm the worst with getting the career lined up. But Basil Hayden's toasted. I kind of like it.
It's light.
It's flavorful.
It is light. That's the biggest complaint people have.
It's kind of springy. Like it's
I believe
easy, nice and easy sipper. So I'm gonna go with that.
Is it 80 proof like Basil's is?
It probably is. I don't know. Yeah. But I like it. It's got a little bit of We'll talk more about it when we actually review it. But I'm gonna go with that. So anyway, folks, we would like to hear what's your springtime whiskey? What are you drinking this spring?
Yeah, which is an interesting question. It's not just a lame question.
It's not lame.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next week we are going to be between two let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Boom.
We are between Wilderness Trail barrel proof rye, which is how much proof? 115?
I don't know. We gotta work.
Anyway, they're barrel proof rye, and then Westland single malt cask 2632, which is 100 proof or 114 proof. About 6 years old. Did that in my head. And so yeah, we got the Wilderness Trail, which is actually a Marco and KC joint. And then the Westland single malt is a Madtown Marketer Ben Klepsig joint. So you vote for next week. Are we going to go an American single malt? Or are we going to go an American rye? Both high proof. I think that's 110, right? 110 proof. I don't know, but they're both 110 plus, probably.
110.
Sweet. So yeah, we're gonna put that on. Yeah. We're going to put that on Instagram. So vote for next week. We're interested to see what you'll vote for. I could see this going either way. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being a baller. I hope you had a good time.
Cool.
Yes.
I hope next time I realized you're going into this transition sooner.
Robby, I hope that you are as beautiful next week as you are this week.
Cool. I hope you're as flatteringly nice as you are right now. And I hope that next week you have an adventurous week where you have lots of things to talk about.
Me too. But most of all, listeners, I hope that our love of spirits lifted yours.
Go to the bean cam.
Go to the bean cam.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.